Hey everybody, what's up? Jim Cirilla and Tanya Klein here from Coverage Inc., the leader in screenplay analysis, development, and editing services since 2002. And what do my eyes perceive? We have a visitor today.
Yes, we do. We have Matthew Lutz today because we're going to talk about something very exciting that Matthew is organizing. Welcome, Matthew.
Thanks. Glad to be here. That's a heck of an intro. I like that. You guys have the energy. I'm like, sweet, let's go.
How's it going, man? So, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who the heck are you?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you the Cliff Notes version, but I mean, essentially, I've been a writer for 20 years off and on. Like as any writer can tell you, it's sometimes feast or famine. Sometimes you have things that are working, sometimes they're not. So in addition to that, I've also been running an ad agency for 20 years as well. And one of the weird niches that I have clients in the ad agency is doing marketing and promotions for large scale conferences and everything from space to blockchain to military, like lots of different niches. And one of them just happened to be screenwriting as well. I used to work with Robert McKee, I don't know, 7 years ago or so.
Name kind of rings a bell.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and so and this is kind of why we're here talking today is I had the idea to put on a conference in the screenwriting space, just kind of bring my skill sets and passions together, and started floating the idea out there and got mixed reactions as you do with any creative endeavor. Some people were saying run for the hills, live events are dead, you'll lose your ass, pardon my French, and stuff like that. And I may, who knows? But I was also like thinking about my career and such that it is, and like a lot of the big turning points have happened because of people I met in real life events, whether it was a networking event, whether it was a meetup, whether, whatever that is. Some of the co-writers that I've written scripts with and stuff I met at live events. And I just felt like that piece, especially after COVID and everything, like I'm introverted as it is, but we all kind of, the industry, besides the fact that there's been so many curveballs thrown at the industry, we also went very, like we started becoming hermits and not venturing out as much, not doing the real life IRL networking and stuff. So I started floating the idea out there about what would it look like to do a conference, and if so, what would be the most beneficial, and what would be different than what some of the other conferences are out there, because there's some good ones out there. Storyteller 360, obviously the Austin Film Festival has a track that's kind of like the bar, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, what can we do different? And so that was kind of the spark that started it all. And I don't know if we want to pause there because you might have questions or so, or if you want to just keep going about talking about the conference.
Let's keep going about exactly what is different about Allegory. And before we do, you're absolutely right. In-person networking is very different than, Zoom networking. And in fact, I mean, there have been plenty of studies that not only do you learn better if you're in person as opposed to learning on Zoom, you also connect better if you're in person than if you're on Zoom, for example. So you're absolutely right. So what makes Allegory different from the other in-person conferences?
Yeah, well, I'll say what we're trying to do different. We'll see how it all plays out. But you have to be there to see if we accomplish our goals. But, when I started speaking to different speakers and producers and showrunners and stuff, I realized quickly a few common themes started bubbling up. And that's ultimately what we shaped this event around is really there's 4 kind of buckets of content or experiences that we're building, because the same thing, people kept talking about the same thing. And I was like, how do we address those things? So the first one is, I mean, honestly, an honest look of where the industry is, like a State of the Union type approach of like, what's working, what's not, because as I mentioned before, a lot of curveballs, and that is something where a lot of speakers were like, I wouldn't even want to be on their stage because I don't know what to advise people. And so we're going to hit that head on, and we're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and on the flip side, where the new opportunities are. What are the new blue oceans that people like for writers to know about? So that's number one. Number two is education. Obviously, it's kind of a no-brainer, but
Sure.
that kind of breaks up into a few things where it's education about the craft, it's education about your career, and then God willing, your confidence as a writer, like the inner stuff, which is really becomes its own category where as writers, the third thing that we want to build into this event is we all have imposter syndrome. We all have resistance that builds up. We procrastinate. We, self-worth issues come to the forefront. And so
Unless you're a narcissist,
yeah, there you go.
in which
There
case
you
you're
go.
good.
Hey, you're invited too, though. Maybe we can learn something from you. Maybe we can glean some of that confidence.
Oh, God
Um,
help us.
but so there's going to be some of that inspiration, motivation stuff. You're going to hear some stories about how some writers made it, and draw some parallels about what are some of the opportunities out there. And so there's going to be some of that inner work, the mindset stuff as well.
Mhm.
But by no means is this thing all just a motivational, like Tony Robbins type thing. It's like it's going to be woven in there because it needs to be.
Sure.
But there's also a ton of really good content. So the last one that we're going to do, which comes down to the one of the main benefits of meeting in real life, is the networking component. So it's going to be, State of the Union, education, inspiration, and networking. And so we've got an after hour party built in specifically for that. There's also going to be some things throughout the
Right.
day where we're kind of you're workshopping with other people and things like that.
This is something that writers really tend to poo-poo because, like you said before, we're all kind of, introspective or introverted, sorry.
There you go.
And, interfacing with other people is not something that like a lot of writers naturally do very well. But one of the key pieces of advice we tend to give our clients is to seek a like-minded writing partner because oftentimes they can shore up your weaknesses.
Yeah.
If you're like bad at grammar or something, you might find somebody who is good at grammar and they might not be great with, story, but you're, whatever it is, and you wind up, creating something that's better than the sum of the parts. And, how do you meet these people? We're constantly asked like, okay, great idea. How do I do that? Well, how about this? Right?
Exactly. So, yeah, no, it's so important for writers to network because this business is all about connections. It's all about who you know. And that is how the doors will open for you. This is how you will find your opportunities. So, yeah, absolutely important. And so tell us a little bit more about Allegory. When is it? Where is it?
Yeah, it's happening in LA. It's March 21st. There's a small studio called Solar Studios. That's the venue that we're going to be using. It's not like 150 people. We're capping it.
Okay.
For lots of reasons. One is that they say that 150 number is kind of like the magic number. When you start getting beyond that, it feels less like a community. And
Mhm.
we want everyone to like, especially because it's our first event, we want this to feel like everyone is involved, everyone's invited, everyone is playing a part, and we want it to be very we want to inspire that networking and those conversations and stuff because to your point, I met a co-writer at a live event. Like I met at a live event, her name's Elaine. She's an amazing writer, and she complimented, like I have a very different approach to writing than she does, and when we put together, it was kind of a magic thing. It was just like, wow, this works. And
Yeah.
we ended up writing 4 or 5 scripts together. And I wouldn't have met her had I not gone to a live event, had I not gotten out of my comfort zone of being introverted and staying home. And so I think that's the invitation to people is, yeah, this is going to stretch you a little bit without a doubt. But like, do you have all the tools today to make it to where you want to be tomorrow? Like, that's the kind of like question I would have is it's like, because I know I don't. I need to keep learning. I need to keep sharpening skills and stuff. And the only way to do that is, unfortunately, you have to get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Like learning always comes with a little bit of discomfort. It's I've got young kids, and you see like babies don't learn to walk without falling a bunch.
Right.
And that's part of the process. So like writers need to stretch themselves to become better writers, to become better in their career as well. And it starts with
Matthew,
these
I
sorts of
absolutely hate that, but I hate it, but after I do it, I always feel better that I've done it.
100%. It's never as scary as you think it's going to be. Listen, I'm going to be on stage, doing some moderating, doing all this stuff. I hate public speaking. And I know for a fact the day of, I'm going to be like, how do I get out of this? How do I get out of this? And then as soon as it's over, I'll be like, it wasn't so bad. This is, and that's just how we are at life. We tend to catastrophize things in advance, and then in the rear, you look back and be like, oh, that was silly to react that way.
Absolutely. So you have a speakeasy aspect to the event. Can you tell us a little bit more about the speakeasy?
Yeah. So it's going to be a long day of content, and programming during the event. So afterwards, we want to basically give everyone the chance to stay after and have some drinks, network, some hors d'oeuvres, all of that stuff. That's all included, by the way. And then there's going to be some music. And then even during that time, we're going to have a couple like fireside chats. So we're going to be bringing in a staff writer from the show Shrinking, and he's going to basically do an AMA and let you ask any questions like, how do you get staffed in a writer's room? What's it like in there? He worked on SNL as well. He's packaged and sold 12 different projects to different studios. So there's a lot that he can teach, and you're going to get a chance to just ask your questions in an open environment, and just in kind of a relaxed situation. Then there's someone else that's going to be talking about their entire process of shopping a project that was different than most features, and everyone said it wouldn't work and stuff, and they end up getting, some A-list like Melissa McCarthy and Joe McHale and stuff to create this project. And he's going to literally talk about the entire experience from start to finish and answer people's questions. And during that networking speakeasy, we're also going to set up some tables that have different topics. And you guys are going to run one as well, which I just invited you to do. And so that's going to be, you're going to be on panels. You're going to be everywhere at this thing. And that's going to be an opportunity for people, like if they want to really, really dive deep and have like an open discussion on a roundtable around log lines, around adaptations, around writing for reality TV. This is going to be their opportunity to do. So it's going to encourage a lot of interactivity as well in a relaxed environment. Again, it's more like a speakeasy environment. We're going to dim the lights. We're going to have, like I said, music and entertainment and all of that stuff. So it'll be much more relaxed way to kind of and cap off the evening.
I like that vibe. Okay. So tell us a little bit about the structure of the day. Since there's 150, only going to be 150 attendees,
Yes.
Are we going to have like concurrent panels, like two events at 2 o'clock, or is it just like one thing going on at every schedule throughout the day? What's that look like?
Yeah. So no, is the short answer. Is we're going to put everything on the main stage. I purposely didn't do any tiered tickets, no VIPs. Like we're all equals in there. And so I want everyone to experience everything at the same time. So we're not going to have different tracks or different stages that cannibalize traffic. Like they pull audience from this one, they don't get to see that one. So this is kind of like it's going to be a combination of keynotes, panels, workshops, demos. There's going to be a pitch competition, and it's all going to happen on one stage, and everyone's going to get to experience it together.
Oh, what's the pitch competition going to look like? I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. So there's basically they're already starting some of it right now, all the vetting and the practicing and all that stuff, and the applications and all that. I think it's wrapping up in the next few days here, and then they'll have their finalists. They'll start whittling it down, but ultimately they're going to bring in three. They being ISA, they're going to bringing in they're bringing in three different finalists, and they're all going to get to pitch in front of industry pros, and they're going to get live feedback on stage about their pitch. So it's combination of learning and education and a little bit of entertainment, if you will. So and there's going to be prizes and stuff too. So so
that's an awesome idea, because in particular pitching is very difficult for writers.
Yeah, 100%. Especially people that have never either done it themselves or gone to like a pitch fest type event. So being able to kind of demystify what it actually is and learn from insiders of like what they're looking for and what worked and didn't work, and hearing that feedback, you'll be able to draw parallels into like your future pitches. So that's kind of
absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a great idea. Where can people find more information about Allegory?
Yeah, they can go to allegory.live. That's the website address. And then for your audience, I think we created a code already for you. I want to say it's Coverage Inc. I think that's just what it is. So use that code and you'll save 20% off of the ticket.
All right, on. Very cool. All right. Anything else we need to know, people need to know, or just go to the website?
I think going to the website and learning about, because we've got a bunch of things that we didn't even cover here, but there's, right now I think there's over 35 speakers, and you'll be able to check out all their bios, look at everything they've worked on. The website shows you like all the different TV shows and films and things that all these speakers on the stage. And it's a combination of writers, showrunners, producers, managers, and studio executives. And you'll get to see all the projects they've worked on and learn all about them and see if they're a good fit and you think that they might have something to teach you. I think the only thing I didn't talk about is the fact that there's also going to be a bunch of giveaways too. So throughout the day, there's software giveaways, there's different prizes and stuff, and we're going to see if we can add a few more surprises in there along the way in the next however many days we have until the event happens. So
Awesome.
Matthew, thank you for taking the time to tell us about this. It sounds really cool. Back in the day, there were a lot more of these events. They seem to be almost a lost art now. So thank you I know you must have a lot on the line putting this together, and I wish you all the success with this. Your success is our success. So let's go for it. Let's kick some butt, and really excited to be a part of it.
Thank you so much, Jim. I appreciate it. And Tanya, I'm looking forward to having you guys there as well. And thank you for being a part of it. And thank you for inviting me on the show. It's awesome.
Right on.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thanks for watching, folks.
Bye-bye.